Hi and welcome to the next episode of Let's Talk House and Home with Beth Pollard, owner of House and Home in Melton Mowbray. Today we're going to talk about lettings.
Big subject, lots to talk about. We obviously offer the sales side of the business, and then we have the letting side of the business, which was established just after the sales side of the business. I was only ever going to be a small sales business, and then lettings got sort of thrust upon us in that weird and wonderful time known as COVID. So we, by default, ended up looking after a problematic property for a client who then had a brother who had some other properties that needed sorting out, same sort of problems. It was probably like a scene out of Shameless, shall I say, the problems that got put in front of us. But we sorted them, resolved them, went into lockdown, and then he phoned me one day and said, "How are you earning money?" And I said, "Struggling to try and find a way to pay the mortgage currently." And he was a wealth manager in the UAE, and he opened his books effectively to me of his clients who had within their wealth management portfolio owned property all over the country.
So I was going to say, you don't just look after lettings in the local area, do you?
No, he just said to me, "Are you prepared to travel?" Bearing in mind we're based in Melton Mowbray, my rental portfolio now runs from Plymouth to Preston. So are you prepared to travel? Because if you are, these clients will join you.
Wow.
So that's what we did, and it built from there really. One client knew another client, and then they've recommended me to families and friends as well. And it keeps me very busy. So I had to realign all of the business, rethink how we were going to do everything, and come up with a strategic plan of managing expectation, managing clients overseas, making sure that overseas clients were compliant with regulation and money laundering regulations, and grow the business from that angle.
And what are your highlights then in looking after a rental portfolio?
I think it's the variety. Variety, it's something new every single day, but also the people. I think a landlord's biggest fear or people's perception is, "Oh, having a rental portfolio must be really stressful," or "tenants don't pay their rent," which is the biggest thing I hear. But actually the people that you meet, I've got some great tenants, some really lovely tenants that we have great relationships with. And then I have now clients being landlords all over the world. So I go out to Dubai quite a bit. I've got a pending trip to South Africa to see clients. I've got clients in New Zealand, America, all over the world. You know, I get to see lots of things, hear lots of stories, meet different cultures and how they work and how they operate. So yeah, the variety is amazing, and I wouldn't change that. Sometimes it can be challenging.
I was going to say, are there any downsides to it, or?
Downsides can be that you're never off, because your phone is never off. You can be with your friends and family and your phone is never off. It's always ringing. Somebody always needs a thought, an opinion, a problem solving, whether that be Christmas Day or a Wednesday at 5 o'clock sort of thing. So you are always on call.
Right. And what are your thoughts on the Renters' Rights Act 2025?
Big subject, massive subject. Renters' Rights 2025 is the biggest piece of legislation within the last 30 years in this sector. It's needed. Landlords, yes, are going, "Oh God, there's more to do." But my word, some of the properties that I have been out to historically are awful. Now that's through mismanagement, tenants not looking after it, agents potentially not looking after it. So it's a real pull your socks up piece of legislation for landlords, for agents, for tenants to a certain degree. I don't think the government have got it all right at all. I think some of the pieces of legislation need serious reconsideration because they just do not fit. For tenants, for example, so part of the new legislation is that tenants will be on a periodic tenancy and not a fixed term. Well, a lot of my tenants actually want the security that they've got a fixed term. So the periodic agency doesn't actually work for the tenant that the government think that it's going to work for. Landlords are going to find it slightly more challenging, but actually it's what we should be doing and what landlords should be doing. If they're not, most, like tenants, most in any case, are absolutely fine in doing their thing. It's those people that haven't looked after their properties, that haven't reinvested their money back into their properties, that haven't got a great relationship with their tenant, is where the shortfall is and where they're going to come unstuck. There's a huge amount of work for the agents to undertake. Like, I cannot tell you how much paperwork and readjustment of businesses that do want to be compliant and do it correctly, this will consume over the next 12 months of this being rolled out, because it is going to be phased. The Renters' Rights Act will be phased, but as of the 1st of May 2026, our worlds as letting agents will be a whole new way of navigating, and some of that legislation doesn't get, and notes don't get landed to us until April 2026, when we're supposed to go live with this on the 1st of May.
Yeah, it doesn't give you a lot of time.
No, so a huge amount of work to do, but lettings is varied, exciting, challenging, and we get to meet with some really great people on a daily basis, but you never know what the next phone call is going to be. It could be anything. We are, like we said previously, somebody's agony aunt, maintenance man, mentor, you know, rent collector, problem solver. We are everything to everyone, which can be slightly exhausting, but like I said, we love it. I've got a great team that manage it, and we just have to navigate our way through them. There's always a problem, but there's always a solution to everything. And I think people sometimes lose sight of that when you're dealing with people and property. So yeah, it's good.
That's great. Right, well, that's it for another episode, and we'll be back next time. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for watching.